Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Coaches Show here at Luigi's in Newcastle. My name's Gene Reed, and to my left is Mr. Gerald Lewis, a fine gentleman, misbehaving from time to time, but otherwise a great second chair for us. We're glad to have you here tonight. We're here at Luigi's at 117 Northwest 32nd Street here in Tri-City. Gerald, our guest tonight, I want to tell about our guest tonight before I tell our real guest.
Okay.
Our guest tonight are going to be head coach Jeff Brickman, assistant coach Josh Heskew, and MVP Mr. Caden Longman.
Yep.
And we'll talk to these guys about the game versus prior and the game coming up this Friday night. But first, before we do that, we have a very special guest. These past 2 years, we've enjoyed the Coaches Show here at Luigi's in Newcastle. And we have a couple of Luigi's
originals.
Very famous family
the OG,
members.
the OG.
The matriarch of the family is here, Dr. Sandy Johnson. When I say the Luigi family, I have to remember all the different names as part of this Luigi family. But we're proud to have Dr. Sandy here with us and daughter Dee Wilson. So welcome to the show.
Are you not a doctor? No, not a doctor. Not a doctor.
So we are so proud. We just have enjoyed. And if Gerald doesn't get kicked out, we may get to do it again next year here. We're hoping.
Maybe.
But we're so proud to be guests here at Luigi's and y'all hosting this show for us. And we're glad to have you on the show. We talk about you a lot. Just always, you're always here to talk about it. So. Your dad, your father opened the first restaurant?
So my father started one of the first Italian restaurants in Oklahoma in the 50s.
All right,
My allergies are
That's
not
okay.
good.
So one of the first Italian restaurants
In Oklahoma
in
in the 50s.
Where was that?
In Chickasha.
Yeah, very
and
good.
So my grandfather immigrated from Italy in the early 1900s and had a restaurant in Batavia, New York, which is where I was born.
Oh, okay. New Yorker.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so my mom was an Oklahoman. My dad, she met him at Fort Sill.
Oh, very cool.
So we were in Batavia till I was in grade school, and she said, I'm going home.
Yeah,
Going
good,
home.
good. We're
So-
glad you came back home. So
Yeah,
your
so-
dad opened the first. Your dad opened
My
the first
dad was
restaurant.
Luigi. Yeah.
Luigi. All right. And what was his last name?
Scafetta.
He was a Scafetta, and you're a
I'm
Scafetta,
a
obviously.
Scafetta.
And so very good. I know we're doing really well. We're getting laughed at. And I don't know if it's something we're asking or if they're just y'all need to be paying attention here. Your grandmother and your mother are on the show.
So, Dr. Johnson, not you. So you guys just opened your third Luigi's restaurant
Yes.
in Chickasha.
Yes.
How close are you to the original Chickasha when
So
the new
the
restaurant?
original one was probably about 2 miles away on 4th Street,
Okay.
Highway 81.
Yeah.
And it was really small. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And that location you're at now is a neat location,
Yes,
neat
it
spot,
is.
right next to the 40-foot or 50-foot
Leg lamp.
leg lamp.
Leg lamp. Yeah, the
there.
leg lamp in Chickasha.
Yeah, but such a nice park area there for Chickasha.
Yeah.
They're continuing to develop that. Your restaurant is just within walking distance of the park
Yes.
there, just
Yep.
off the main drive there. So very nice. We enjoyed it. We had the pleasure of dining there when you all opened up, and it was great food as always and everything. So total restaurants in Oklahoma now,
Three.
Is it the three? And the other one being in the Mustang area?
Yes.
Just yeah.
Until Mike decides he's going to open another one.
All right, very
Yeah.
good.
And
So
where would
we'll
that
see.
be?
Who knows? Only
Norman?
Mike knows.
Yeah, only Mike knows. Yeah, here he's probably already has 3 more restaurants planned.
You're probably right.
Well, we were told that if you were on the show as our guest, we'd probably get that secret recipe for the meatball.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we gave it to you, we'd have to kill you.
Oh,
Go ahead. So
well, you get in line. There are other people lined up for that. So,
So it's
go
meat,
ahead. We'll take our chances.
meat. What else?
It does have meat in
Yeah.
it.
What else?
Italian meat.
Italian. See, that's
Watch
that's
him.
the key.
Watch him.
Italian. Okay.
Well,
We've been trying to get that recipe since we've known them.
we have, and we've been yakking it up all the time about how good the food is here.
A lot of their recipes, and correct me if I'm wrong, and your dinners came from your dad's,
That's right.
like his own original recipes,
Yes.
and they've been passed down.
Yes.
And that's why we love Luigi's because it's family, but man, the food is amazing. So it's so good.
We still have people in Chickasha who ate with my dad
No kidding.
who will say, this tastes just like your dad's
Oh,
restaurant.
no kidding. Good.
That's a compliment.
It is a compliment.
And the other star of the show is Miss Dee behind you there.
Yes.
Dee, we're so glad to have you. We tried so hard to get the headsets onto Dee. She said, no, my mom will do the talking
Yeah.
for the family.
She's loud enough. She doesn't need a headset.
So,
She's my baby.
so any messages you have, any marketing message you have to all of the listeners out here? And
You know, the main thing is we're a family restaurant. We have a lot of family involved in operations. Mike, being the financer, his wife manages all three. We have grandkids who work here. Dee helps, especially in the financial analysis. Her daughter's involved. Both of her children are involved. So we have a lot of family, which is the way my dad's restaurant was.
And we're so glad for that. And those family members are so much involved in their communities where they live and in their churches. And for us, we have now we have multiple coaches from your
Yes,
family.
that's right.
And we're so glad to have them. And they mean a lot to us.
Thank you.
And Dee's husband, Judd, Coach Wilson, he's the bouncer. So
He's the bouncer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at the front door right now.
And he's peeking around at us,
Yeah,
so we
that's right.
better behave.
Yeah, we better-
well,
we better
thank you.
behave.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
And
you for
any
asking
last
me.
questions for?
No, sir.
All right. Well, we're so glad to have you. We'll let you all slip off a little
Thank you.
while and enjoy some good Italian food if
Thank
you
you.
like. And thank you so much for
Appreciate
joining us. Good to have you. Well, Gerald, it seems like forever since our last show.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Seemed
Yes,
like
sir.
a long time.
Yes, sir.
And now it seems like in the blink of an eye we're facing a game, semifinal game against Guthrie. We had the bye week. All of Class 5A were off last week.
Yes, sir. Thanksgiving break.
So we kind of enjoyed that additional practice time and preparation time, but so did everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
But I still want to ask the coaches kind of
Yeah,
how
and
that.
we'll talk about that because that's a
yeah.
pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Practicing on Thanksgiving.
So we're playing the Guthrie Blue Jays in the semifinals just up the road in Putnam
Yes, sir.
City School District. We're the home team for that game. We can't wait to talk about that with the coaches. But first, how can we not take a few moments to talk about that game? 10 or 11 days ago against
Man.
Pryor, the
Yeah.
Pryor Tigers,
Yeah.
the game that win got us into this semifinal game.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
And if I may, let me first talk about the individuals that the coaching staff recognized for high grades in their position. How many game balls would you and I hand out if we had a chance to this past couple of weeks?
Oh, 54,
I think-
55. I don't know how many's on the roster.
We know. We watched them practice. We watched them
Yeah.
play the game. We watched the activity on the sideline. If it wasn't for everybody being all in, as we say, I don't think we could be where we are today. But the coaches have selected these individuals.
Right.
The player of the game will be one of our guests after a while, Mr. Caden Longman.
Yep.
He's wide receiver and defensive back. The offensive player of the game, Mr. Alex Schumard, also a wide receiver and defensive back. The player of the game for offense, the defense player of the game is Jackson Shanuel. And, man,
He's also a quarterback, isn't he?
he does a little bit of
He's
stuff.
Little special player right there.
And special teams, Mr. Brian Madrano, our place kicker. Sledgehammer Award went to someone who knows how to hammer the defense. That's
Yes, sir.
or the offense, Ewan Barker. And also the most knockdowns, Mr. Cody Nix, offensive line and defensive line. So I'm getting some indication. I want to check to see how we're doing here. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up.
Sound good.
I was afraid
Good.
someone was letting us know that we might have not be able to be heard or anything like that. And we want to be able to be heard.
Yeah.
You and I. Let's talk about the game a little bit then. What were your thoughts about that victory? I know you and Corey, our game announcer, have chatted about it.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? It was a 38-37 victory over the Pryor Tigers.
Yes, sir.
We knew coming in they were going to be. They had a really complex, a really active offense and a good defense. What were your thoughts on that game?
When the game started going, it was we could see how because Corey and I never really saw prior play, but it was like kind of as the game went on, it was like, okay, who has the ball last? That's who's going to win.
Yeah.
It was one of those games, and if you could get a stop somewhere on defense, you had a chance to win that game.
And it came down to that, didn't it?
That's exactly what happened.
I was also saying the opposite. I said it could be the person who doesn't have the ball who wish they had it. The one with the ball, the one with the ball may have been the one trying to score one more time, and it was almost that until we took the ball back and we had the ball and we won. Yeah, what else?
No, it was just it was a fun game. I'll tell you that. Just to sit there and watch it with the talent that was on that field from both teams. The skill positions, the line. I mean, it was just one of those games. I mean, even and we talked a little bit off camera. Like, each team had a field goal. Mm-hmm. So that was an amazing high school football game.
It was enjoyable. Yeah. Almost. I mean, most of the time.
Yeah, and it was, down the stretch, we made the play to stop them to win the game. And
it came down to that exactly. Both teams had 5 touchdowns. You mentioned both teams had a field goal. They made 2 2-point conversions following a touchdown. We made 1, but they failed on 3 2-point conversions.
And that is, yes, that has a lot to do with us because our coaches studying the film, studying those 2-point conversions, because you don't see that anywhere else in high school football, the way they do their 2-point conversions. They do not line up to kick an extra point. They line up to go for 2. And they have all these different variations for the 2-point conversion. And so our boys have to be disciplined. They have to, watch the football, know their assignment, and do their job. And we looked at it afterwards. If Pryor would have kicked the extra point every single time, that game would have been tied at the end.
Right.
So
we're kind of glad they made their choices.
So that's your game within the game.
Yeah. And we thought maybe they didn't have a kicker. We, not to judge them, but we didn't know if maybe they didn't wasn't comfortable because they.
Yeah, I mean, you're going for 2 every single time.
We gave them the ball right away, and they scored and went for 2 right away. So, but then, lo and behold, they kick a 36-yard field goal a little bit later on, or 32, 36, something like that. And it was so they had a kicker. So anyway, it was a fun game. I don't have all of their stats, but let me just share some of the good things that the Racers did. Had 177 yards on the ground. The longest was a 59-yard run by Mr. T.J. Bradford, where he scored on that. T.J. had 19 carries for 122 yards, including that 1 touchdown. Jackson Shanuel ran the ball 10 times for 55 yards.
2 touchdowns.
Plus he slung it a few times. We'll get into that. And he had 2 touchdowns. Passing, we were 17 of 22. I guess that's all Jackson. 17 of 22 for 282 yards. The longest was a 70-yard pass to Mr. Caden Longman. 35 yards in the air. Kind of a pivot, kind of a twist, kind of one of those moves that only Caden can make. And the other guy's standing there saying, look at the score now.
That was the one where it was where he stopped, right?
Yeah.
So that was we called that one the Top Gun maneuver because you hit the brakes and he flies.
Oh, yeah.
And he took off.
Yeah, so. 35 yards in the air, 35 yards on the ground for that touchdown. We had several receivers. Heskew caught 4 for 54 yards. Bradford caught a couple for 25 yards. Schumart had 1 for 24 yards. Every one of these seemed significant, too, at the time, to move the ball down the field. Zach Craig had 4 catches for 57 yards. We've got to talk to the coach about that. We probably need to give him like 19 more passes, right?
I agree. He catches everything.
I bet Coach needs our help.
He does, especially now.
and Mr. Longman had 6 catches for 122 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
That's crazy.
So tackles, Scagnetti led with 9 tackles. Shanuel had 9 tackles. Heskew had 8. Barker had 6. Burchett had 8. And Taj Smith had 7. So great game on offense, great game on defense. Just let me briefly see if I can, these 5 scoring drives. The Racers scored first from their own 22-yard line. Heskew caught a 14-yard pass. We got a gimme 5.
No, remember they scored first on because we fumbled.
They scored. But of our 5 touchdowns, the first one was about a 78-yard drive. Heskew had that reception to the 36-yard line. We got a gimme 5 to the 41, and then guess what happened? They hand the ball to number 5. Bradford. He ran 59 yards for a touchdown. Our second score came with racers started from the 41-yard line, several runs, a couple of false starts occurred. You have some of those, and then ended with a 17-yard touchdown pass from Shanuel to Longman.
Yep.
Then Medrano kicked a 40-yard field goal.
Yep.
So
we
glad.
went up 17-14 at that
17-14 at that point.
Yep.
Then we went further ahead, 24-14, when the Racers scored again on Shanuel's 9-yard run, following several big plays throughout that long drive. And then Pryor scored a couple more times. Our fourth score was followed 2 completions from Shanuel to Zach Craig that moved the ball way down the road. Then Shanuel hit the 7-yard touchdown run, followed by a 2-point conversion. I won't give the details because I don't want to tease the other team, but it was a good play.
I'm sure they've seen it on film.
They probably have. And then finally, the last drive was a 70-yard touchdown pass from Shanuel to Longman, and that put us ahead. Yeah. We went for 2. We weren't able to make it. We were trying to get ahead by 3 points, but we got the 1 point, and that's what it needed. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that was really good. And then right before halftime, when we scored to go up 24-14, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
And then, and then they came down and got that field goal to make it 24-17 at half, and then they got the ball first.
Yep.
And then here we go again. We're tied again third quarter. 1 point because of the 2-point conversion. So
many of us, I heard the coach say, I would have liked to have a bigger margin than that. But we all kind of talked about, you know what, those are the games that prepare you for the next tough game. So,
the thing about Pryor is they had a ton of juniors and sophomores. So they're going to be back ready to go next year.
Hey,
that was a really good football team, well played,
coached.
well coached. And then the young man that broke his ankle, he had his surgery. He's doing well. We checked on that this week.
Wasn't that nice? And
doing good.
And that mom posted something on Facebook.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
And one of some of our guys had already reached out to him. That's the type of game you love to see.
Yeah.
Everyone just played with class and everything like that. So a great victory for the Racers.
Yep.
We're looking ahead now. We're going to be talking about the upcoming game. But, man, I'm glad we can take a look back and recognize these young players. And we'll talk to Caden a little bit, too, about his performance as well. Well, let's take our first break then.
First break.
And when we come back, we'll have head coach Jeff Brickman. We hope you're enjoying it. Is everybody having a good time so far? Come on. All right. Very good. The roar of the crowd. Thank you. And we'll be right back. You're watching the Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed, because your success is our success.
And we are back. You're watching the Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We are at Luigi's, and everyone is dining. Are you having a good time? Is it good food? Yeah, all right, come on. Yeah, that's very good. Thank you. It is a great place to eat.
Oh, it's amazing.
We don't get to eat.
Time.
We don't get to eat very much until after the show,
Right.
but we enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah.
And
They have
we're
really good lunch specials, by the way.
we're at Luigi's here. Yeah, they do have great specials tonight. Instead of a special, they do have a feature dish of bone-in pork chop.
10 ounces.
10 ounces. It looks great.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a few dishes come out here. Listen, we just encourage you to come and support this restaurant. Support all the restaurants here in Newcastle, local businesses. But Luigi's have such a great family atmosphere, and a great dining experience here. Well, we're welcoming to our show right now. The show this is the person this show is all about. Our coaches, and in particular, Coach Jeff Brickman. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Glad
guys.
to have you back.
Yeah,
Glad to have you back.
December edition.
December. And I snuck into practice again because I
saw you
wanted
when
to
it
be
drove
able to
by.
say.
I saw you when it drove by.
I want to be able to say I was out there in December, and the guys were looking great. Congratulations, Coach, on a great win over the Tigers, and now for a semifinal game coming up against Guthrie. Before we look ahead, I was able to hear part of your your brief talk to the players after the game. Could you just kind of share with us what that message was? It wasn't real long, but you had 2 or 3 points you made with them.
Well, I've kind of learned over the years that they want to hear me talk, but not that long.
Right, right.
And then now with all the TikTok and all that stuff, you better make it short and sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big speech giver like I used to be. But just told them, I asked them if they like Thanksgiving. They all raised their hands, said, what's better than Thanksgiving? Practicing on Thanksgiving morning. So that was basically my whole speech.
Well, it was you had some compliments. Obviously, you had a great message to your team. But that's what I picked up on. You said, "What's better than Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Practicing on Thanksgiving Day."
Well,
and
I saw that on Facebook, and I was like, "What is POTD?" and I was fixing to ask someone, but then I was like, "Wait a minute." The practice on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Which
Coach,
means you're still in the playoffs.
That's right. That's a good thing to have. So once again, we had success. It looked to me like we had success on both sides of the ball and on special teams. You just kind of tell us how you felt about how the team performed that night. It was a tough game, but yeah.
It was a game that went back and forth. We knew coming in that they are going to throw the ball pretty much, 85% of the time, that they go for 2 every play, that they're going to throw out, every trick play you can think of, and they did it all. And, if I had it over to do again, one of their touchdown plays, it was interesting. Before the year, we were talking about different things that we'd seen and stuff like that, and I was telling them about when Art Briles was the head coach at Baylor. He was very innovative in things he did on offense, and one of the things he did, they've made it illegal in college, is when he would get the ball on his sideline for one series a game, he would have a receiver run a go route.
Yep.
And then if it was incomplete, that receiver would just run off the field.
Yep. Right.
And so that corner has to come all the way from the end zone all the way back, while a new guy just comes in and runs another one.
I saw that. Yep.
And so I was telling him about that, and then here prior, I saw him doing it, and the little voice in my head said, "You need to call a timeout," and I didn't call a timeout, and they scored doing that.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because as a corner, that's really difficult to defend. I mean, because you just ran a 50-yard sprint, and now you got to come all the way back
quickly because
and do it
go.
again. So,
and and they got the other ball in real quickly. They threw a ball in from the sideline and did a quick play. I mean, not only did they not have to run, I mean, they hurried up.
Yeah.
And we were.
And there is no substitution rule where if the offense subs, then they have to allow the defense to sub in high school, like there is in college. And that's what some people don't understand is they don't have to wait on the defense.
Right.
Correct? Yeah.
Well, Coach, all 4 teams in Class 5A had a bye this week, so we're all in the same situation. But what was it like, and what is it like for these teams having almost two full weeks to prepare, minus maybe a holiday?
Well, I wondered what it would be like in the playoffs because I've never had one in the playoffs. This is the first year I believe they've done it, but I really liked it. I felt like everyone was able to kind of recharge their batteries a little bit. We did practice and went all out like we normally do, but we gave the players off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it really allowed us game plan-wise. We kind of had what I would call like, the first game plan, and then we watched them a little bit more, and then 2.0. So we were able to almost like put in even more prep time, but obviously everyone will be able to do that.
Right.
And then being able to spend time with the coaches' families, it's, my wife's a principal at Moore, and just being able to be there with her for a week, even though I was at practice, but being able to come home, I don't know. I wish she could just stay at home all the time because I like it better when she's there. But just being with the family and to recharge the batteries a little bit while at the same time you're still practicing and getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach, it was a great game night environment, game night atmosphere.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I know you enjoy that part of the game as well. For a lot of fans, make a lot of noise, and the band and everything like that. So, did you pick up on that? That it was a great night for
I've talked about it before. There's it's not the only place I've ever coached, and I've enjoyed having home field advantage at different places. But I'm not just saying this to say it. There's something special about playing at home at Newcastle. I mean, it's just. I can't put a finger on it, but it's just you just feel like you have an advantage, and I think a lot of it just has to do with the community support, all the way from the students all the way to alumni, and then like your coffee fringe that you have. I mean, it's like the whole community, and that's what you want. I mean, that's the whole attraction to being in what I would call one town, one team, where everyone's a Newcastle Racer fan.
Well, Coach, it's a group effort, obviously. You'd be first to say that, too. The band is getting better all the time anyway. I mean, our band has improved over the last several years. They're really good. The last few years, they're just excellent. Even if while y'all were still in the field house, the band sets the tune for the no pun intended, sets the tone for the crowd. They play Oklahoma, the Oklahoma State song. The Palm squad is out there, the cheer squad, the band. Corey, our announcer, has all the fans to stand. So it starts off with a real positive note, and then our announcer is part of it. He keeps the crowd really involved. Coach, our AD Hodges is doing what he can to make every game night. And number one Racer fan right now, Dr. Kathy Walker, she's part of it. She really wants to see the community involved and get behind the racers in every sport. So
I'm glad you brought all those people up. Our band director, he and I have a great relationship, and he loves football too, so he understands like when to play and all those things. And then, nothing against previous administration or anything like that, but this isn't any diss on them at all. So it is about saying thank you to Dr. Walker and to Brent Hodges, because after last season, every year I'd meet with administration. I give them kind of some things I think we need to do to get better. And usually, they would listen, write things down, and really nothing would ever happen. Not this last time.
Wow.
almost every single thing that I presented to them about things we need to do to, like, take the next step, they did 99% of all of
Wow.
it. And so the success that we've had this year, obviously, it's never just one person. It's never just the coaching staff or the players. It is everyone on board to put together a good product.
Right.
And they really, really stepped up and helped us out big time.
In the Booster Club,
The Booster Club.
the parents,
Yep.
The participation. I'm asking all the questions
No,
so
you're
far.
fine.
So, Gerald, forgive me, but Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, Coach. You had a great turnout. Had a lot of parents out there. The Booster Club and the players. Tell a little bit about what you did on Thanksgiving morning.
My first year here, or actually second year here, one of our assistants had gone on to coach at Bethany, and they were playing in the semifinals, and I went and watched them practice, and this would have been in 2018, and they don't have a facility like we do. They play at Southern Nazarene, but their practice facility, they have almost like a porch on their field house. And when I went and watched it, they had all of their parents out there drinking coffee, watching practice. And right then I knew if we get to practice on Thanksgiving morning, I mean, it's been playing a long time. We've got a better venue. We're gonna up the ante. We're gonna have our parents up there drinking coffee on the balcony.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a nice facility.
And you did.
And we did it.
We did.
Yeah.
And that was all, talking. We have a great Booster Club president, Gerald Elcision, and he always comes to me each week. And I was talking. He's like talking about the Thanksgiving practice, and I told him the idea, and he loved it and went and ran with it. And I mean, like I was telling him that morning, I had kind of in my mind what I thought it would look like, but he exceeded my expectations as far as the presentation and everyone there. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
What questions do you have of the coach?
I mean, these are really good questions. So, this week, normal week, right? Back to school. Everyone's we do have school Friday.
Yeah, that's a good. I was
yeah.
wondering about that too. Yeah,
So-
we're in school.
Yeah. We have a send-off scheduled. I'm sure we have a pep assembly scheduled
Yeah, we'll have a pep assembly on Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
At school.
At school.
All right.
Yeah, just so we can make kind of Friday the most like a normal game day as possible.
Yeah.
We've had pep assemblies before on the game day, and it's great, but I think doing it the day before is even better.
Oh, good,
to be
good, good,
honest. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So what will Friday look like? Will the boys be in class normal hours? Will they get a break? Will they? Because it is a school day, right?
Yeah, I think they're still working on that.
Okay, good.
The hardest thing, obviously, would be for the coaches that are teachers.
Right.
You can't have us all out because we already have a sub shortage. Anyways, that's everywhere, not just Newcastle.
Right.
But for the players, we need to try to make it like their typical Fridays, and they're still working
Routine.
on that. Yep.
What time do y'all leave?
We're gonna leave at 4.
4. Okay.
I was talking to Coach Bradford. It might look maybe a little bit earlier just because of traffic, but, it should only be about a 30, 35-minute drive. We'd like to get there about 15 minutes before 5, and then they tape, dress, and relax at 5. Then at 5:30 we start our special tees, waves of warm-up and all that stuff.
Okay. And
Co-
we are
No, please.
we are the home team, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're the home team.
Yeah, is that great? Great.
Yep.
Coach, we talked last week about 2 weeks ago. You talked about the game is more than the X's and the O's. Talk about relationships and bringing people together who aren't normally together. And so when I was thinking about that question 2 weeks ago, I thought, as you progress further into a season like we are, that probably accentuates it, doesn't it? I mean, because I know you're probably getting calls from coaches. Usually other people who are not playing, especially, they have time to think about, hey, Brickman's doing so well, and so you're probably hearing from other coaches and getting a lot of opportunities. But that probably just continues on to it gets even more so as the season goes.
Yeah, that's the neatest thing about anything is the relationships, and I've done it for 24 seasons, so I've coached with a lot of guys, and then coached a lot of players, and just like the other day, Casey Thompson, who played here, he texted me and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm about to teach the class. I'm giving a lecture on Hanukkah, because most people don't know what Hanukkah is." And he said, "Well, I want to come listen to it." So he came in like a student and sat in the, with this, and he was taking notes. And then when we were done, he asked me a bunch of questions about it. But it's like I wouldn't know him if I wasn't a coach, and I wouldn't know you guys.
Right.
And, it's just.
This is probably the highlight, knowing us.
Oh, I'm sure. No, but one of the coolest things, and to kind of piggyback off that, Gene, is the relationships that you have with these players, and not just you, but all the coaches. Is you saw all the alumni that were there Friday, and that was neat to see all those kids.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of how you.
That was one of my favorite parts, because right before the game, I heard somebody say something, and I turned around. It was Andrew Schumard and Zach Roberts, and I had to go over there and talk to him. I said, after the game, we're taking a picture.
Yeah.
Because that group, I love every group. That group was very special, and I would say that they were kind of the ones that kind of really kind of started changing the culture of that group, that senior group.
Attitude, heart, skill, well played, showing us how to make a comeback win.
That's right.
And everything.
So
and
people want to talk about the prior game, and some of the coaches weren't here back in 2020. I said that was not as good as it was.
Yeah.
We were down to cash by 20 points, and 90 seconds ago we came back and beat them. And we hadn't practiced in 2 weeks because of COVID.
Oh, that's right.
That game still is the craziest game I've ever been
So
a part
you
of.
take that setting and that environment and translate it over a few more seasons. Some of the younger brothers of other players are now playing and starting for us and playing a lot of ball. And now they come back against Lawton Mack, do well against McGinnis, do a tough game against Pryor. So it sets the stage for continued improvement.
I mean, that's what people are. We're big imitators. I mean, we imitate hairstyles and clothes styles and all these things, and success breeds success. So when younger players see the older players doing well and doing it the right way and having success, they're going to imitate that.
Yeah. And you talk about that, Gene, with the culture, and outside, as fans we talk, and it's like like the Lawton Mack game. It's like 3-4 years ago we lose that game, and then every game now it's like, man, 3-4 years ago we lose this game,
right.
But that just shows you where we were and where we are, and yet we're still nowhere where we need to be. I mean, it's just one of those things that's exciting.
And I think our program will follow that too, with getting into the quarterfinals and semifinals. I think we're setting a good new high water mark. Continue to do that. And well, Coach, tell us a little bit about what the fans will expect from Guthrie.
Guthrie is a polar opposite of Pryor. You couldn't find two teams more different.
Right.
They present a challenge as far as they're very, very, very tough. They are a physical, tough team that's going to run the ball almost every play. They have a really, really dynamic quarterback, number 3, that is just a great athlete, and they do a really good job of getting him the ball and trying to outnumber you as far as the people they put on the field to block. And then defensively, they're the same way. They're very physical, and they want to stop the run. And the interesting thing about their defense is they run 3 different fronts. So typically when you play a team, they either run 1 or maybe 2.
Yeah.
But they run 3, and it's an equal amount of time. So in practice, you have to practice against all 3 fronts. So that's quite a bit of a challenge, but I think it'll be a great game. It's going to be cold. I think, looking at I pumped their team up, but pumping our team up, I think we've kind of showed that we can win any type of game. And our offense is very multiple. If you want to stop the run, we'll throw the ball. If you want to, defend the pass, we can run the ball. We're going to take what you give us. I mean, no pun intended, but that's what we do.
Right.
And then defensively, we really pride ourselves on being a run-stopping team. So I think this is going to be a big challenge for us, and I think it's going to be strength on strength, and may the best team win.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Man.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. Any final questions for the coach,
No,
Gerald?
I still love the beard, though. Playoff beard.
I know it.
Postseason beard.
He may just commit to next year.
Yeah.
Well,
never shave it.
now I've had it long enough. If I shave it, people will say you look weird.
Yeah.
That's how-
They would never tell you that, Coach.
might look
My
like this
dad had
guy.
a beard when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and he would, he was very routine.
Yeah.
He always had a beard like in the winter, and then when he shaved it, he wouldn't tell us.
Right.
And then he comes in, it's like, whoa. It's like,
Yeah.
And what a great guy your dad is.
Oh, yeah.
We
He's-
just enjoy.
couldn't ask for a better dad.
We enjoy him so much.
Yep.
Well, Coach, we'll take a break here and let you go and maybe get about to eat or enjoy the rest of the show here. Always glad to have you. We hope we see you next week at this very table, talking big, exciting things about Racer football. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we'll have Coach Heskew, one of the fan favorites as well, one of our favorites, one of our many favorites. We love them all.
We love them all.
And so we'll take a break. You're watching the Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We'll be right back.
How do you ignite minds, inspire curiosity, fuel the explorers and innovators? How do you instill a lifelong love of learning? You give our Oklahoma schools and teachers, and most important, our kids, what they need. That's why the people of Oklahoma Oil and Natural Gas have contributed over $2 billion to education in the last decade, so our students have the opportunity to improve our future and theirs.
And we are back. The Coaches Show here at Luigi's in Newcastle, Oklahoma, 117 Northwest 32nd Street. If you don't recognize the address, it's here in the Tri-City area, just north of Highway 37 and just a little bit east of Walgreens. So Luigi's is a great place to eat, and they are great as our host for the Coaches Show. We love them so much. In case you missed the first segment, we had the matriarch of the family with us, Dr. Sandy Johnson. And one of the Scafettas, who founded the restaurant business here. And we're so happy to be joined now by Josh Heskew, assistant coach, has a variety of talents in his bio of strength and conditioning. Good night. Thank you. There goes the matriarch. She's leaving the building. Josh, we're glad to have you here and appreciate all you do. Remind us of some of the things, some of your roles currently, and then I'm going to take you back down memory lane here in a little bit too.
Well, some of the roles that I've had currently and in the past is working with the strength conditioning most recently. Probably for the last 3 or 4 years, exclusively doing that. Before that, I was helping out with the offensive and defensive line and doing a lot of scouting from. Most people recognize me on the rooftop of the field house because I was doing a lot of scouting up there and looking at formations and looking at tendencies and being able to relay that back to the coaches as in any way they needed help.
But you got a full-time job. You work during the day and play at night or keep working at night. Coaching and but you've got a lot of connections, with this group. With the seniors in particular, you might say, but even more than that. And when we were talking a couple weeks ago about who to invite in today, first name came up. They said we need to get Josh because Little League. You worked with these kids in Little League, I guess. All the way through, or.
Yeah, so this is a pretty special team for me for multiple reasons, but one, I mean, obviously my son Rex, who's a senior. I got the opportunity to coach him and most of these other seniors that are on the team, all the way from 1st to 6th grade.
So you stayed with them through those progressions,
I did. I gave them up in middle school, and then I got them back. in high school.
Yeah.
So. They got a well-rounded coaching education.
How'd they do in middle school?
They did really, really well in middle school.
I thought so.
They did really well. They actually also won 3 championships in Little League too.
No
so
kidding.
So their 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, they won championships. And
that's a thing.
Yeah.
1st grade championship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and then of the freshman crew that's there. I coached them all the way up from 1st grade to 6th grade as well.
Our freshmen this year?
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to say that, well, is that because of your younger son?
Yes.
Because of Max going through there. But then you also get to know other kids in other grades, obviously, anyway, between those grades as they come up, and now, especially now that you're in high school. So that's what I made the Rex, the seniors, Little League, strength and conditioning. That's a lot of connections with the team, and
it's a lot of hats. But you know what? Coach Brickman has given me the opportunity to be blessed to be able to do this. And obviously, just being an outsider and not being a school employee, he gives me the grace and really just it's the ability to be able to show up whenever I can show up and help out wherever I can help out, and hopefully be an asset, more of an asset than a liability at times.
And Gerald, that really speaks toward Coach Brickman, because how easy it would be for a coach to say, "Nah, I don't need the guy."
Well, and Brickman talks about it all the time about the culture. About finding the right guys, and if you find the right guy or the right coach with the character, you want them to be a part of your program.
So you'll
do whatever you can.
So you played ball too. Were you successful in college?
Yeah, a little bit. We won.
I'm teeing this up for you.
Yeah.
You played for?
I played for University of Nebraska, right, and got to win 3 national championships underneath Tom Osborne, and I got to start for 3 years for him at center, and got some accolades. Had some fun with that, and didn't lose too many ball games, but it was a blessing to again. Coach Brickman reminds me a lot of Coach Osborne and his demeanor and the way he treats the team and really how he coaches and he structures practice and his disciplines and stuff.
That's big time. High praise, man.
I've always said there is a parallel between Newcastle football and Nebraska football.
Okay.
With my association with both of the teams.
Right.
Nebraska, Newcastle football, Nebraska.
Well,
Come on now.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get real.
John, I called you and asked you one time about Coach Osborne because I feel in my heart, I know in my heart, a coach can be a mild-mannered, gentle approach coach and be successful. Yeah. And if we're not winning, it's because the coach isn't fired up enough.
Right.
If we're or if the coach is overly fired up,
Yeah.
that's a problem too. People find a reason. But I said, no, I said, how about Osborne up at Nebraska? Never saw him yelling, never saw him screaming, never saw him lose his temper.
Yeah.
So I called Josh, and I said, Josh, is that just a TV time, or is that real? And Josh, you said what? It is 24/7.
24/7. The guy was even keel. If he said "dadgummit," you knew that he was upset, right? But he never yelled it,
right?
But you could just kind of see, but it was the type of guy that he came at you with respect. He treated you as a person, not just as a football player or a number. The guy was amazing because even to this day, when I see him, he asked about my parents by name. How's Mark and Vicky doing? And my siblings as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's 30 years I've been removed out of the system,
Wow.
and obviously he's been removed out of the system for just as long. But I mean, he just cares. He cares about people, and as a player, you never want to disappoint a coach like that.
Right.
And Brickman, I think, shares those same attributes. I mean, he really invests in these kids, and not just in football, but even outside of football. He wants them to be better men than football players.
And
which is a
Josh,
cool
he
thing.
attracts coaches who follow that nature too.
Yeah.
He does. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, let me take you back to Little League. Talk about Little League football in Newcastle. Why were they so good? What was football like back then? And what was your most fond memories of those kids going through the grades?
I would say as fun as it is watching those kids grow up in a program in the program that we implemented, I would say that the funnest years I've ever had coaching was actually the first grade year.
Really?
No kidding.
Yeah, just watching something come from nothing.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
from every year you kind of built on and built on and built on.
But it
and they got
started at
better and better.
nothing.
But it was nothing. These kids knew nothing. I mean, they knew what football was, and they knew how to, hey, I can go out here and throw, and everybody wanted to be a running back or a quarterback.
Right.
But just developing these kids in the positions that they are, and a lot of them still playing the positions that they're playing now is really cool. Well, I will say this, that Rex, he gets it naturally. I mean, he's a deep snapper. He does all the field goal snaps and does that, and he gets it naturally because his first 3 years in football, he was a center.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Because
good.
I could work with him
Exactly.
as the center
Yeah.
every day, because what most people didn't realize is when you watch these Little League games is that it all starts with a snap.
Yeah.
If you can't get a snap, you're not running a play.
Right.
So I worked with him as far as just snapping every single day. And Max was the same way. His first 3 years, he was a center as well. So
Not Rex. Josh, is it true that some of your plays resemble single wing type plays?
100%. 100%. I won. Hey, we've won 7 championships in Little League off doing the single wing. It was great.
Where is Coach Brad? Is Coach Brickman still? He slipped out. I needed him to hear this. I'm going to make him watch the recording.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to single wing, the type of plays and everything like that. Did you ever have a play that was similar to what you called a spinner six?
You know what? I saw that on your sheet, and I had to Google it. So it was misdirection plays.
Yeah.
But we didn't have anybody spinning around. We just did direct snaps.
Well,
to the
that's
people that were snapping,
and that's
or that were
kind of
running
what.
it.
Yeah. So single wing snap to a fullback or tailback, and maybe I think it's spinner six. Well, I asked you about that once before, and you recognized it. But the kid turns around. So I'm always telling Brickman, I said, man, I've got some great single wing plays. It just drives him nutty.
Yeah.
He mocks me every time I get close to him. So anyway, but I'm guessing that single wing type of play is what made the team the way they are today.
It is. It's that tough nose, single wing attitude of just pounding it at them and running the ball 99% of the time.
Yeah. Well, Josh, I brag about you and your family. You all are so involved. You're connected. You and your wife are so involved with both the school and the community, your church and everything. And what are some of the things you love about Newcastle?
The thing about Newcastle is you can't go anywhere without knowing somebody, right? This Newcastle reminds me a lot of Mustang when I first moved there. I moved to Mustang when I was in 3rd grade, and so that was a long time ago. And this town really reminds me of that. And Mustang got way too big, and so I moved out into a smaller town, into Newcastle. And even though this community is growing, we still have this small town feel, which is great, and it really makes Friday Night Lights and just high school sports and youth sports just electric and fun to be a part of.
There's a push among us. There's a drive among us to do what we can to keep it that way. And I think one of the ways to do that is through athletics and through the school especially, and then through athletics. It's just another way for us to come together and to have a central theme and central, So I just encourage everyone just to follow Newcastle sports. There's so many sports now that we play.
Right.
So how about the Blue Jays? Talk to us just a little bit about what we're going to see coming up. Coach mentioned it and as well, but
they are a tough team. They're going to come out and they're going to punch us in the mouth, right? And so we have to match their toughness and intensity is what we're going to have to do. And I would say in the past that was we had problems with teams like that, but I think this year we've shown that we can go toe to toe with anybody in the state. And that includes even a team like a Carl Albert. I mean, we scrimmaged them at the beginning of the season, and I thought we did fairly well holding our own against them. I mean, they're a good team. Obviously, they are the Goliath in 5A, but Guthrie's always been a solid team. They've always given Carl Albert a run for their money when they had the right athletes. But they remind me of an old school K-State that doesn't, they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna play great defense. They're not gonna turn the ball over. They're not gonna make a whole lot of mistakes, and they're gonna make us play all three phases of the game in order to beat them.
Well, any questions for the coach?
Just a little difference. Like, what year did you graduate Mustang?
93.
Okay, so 93. You played all 4 years high school at Mustang. Okay, and then you look at today's game, and when you were in high school, and you look at today's game, like what has changed in that time?
I think the creativity has changed a ton, right? One of the big things that I notice is just, even going from we ran the I formation in high school, we ran the I formation in college too, but we ran the option off the I formation in college, and it just looking at the different formations, and it's not that the plays are any different really. It's just they formation you to death, and they'll put people in different places to really kind of throw people off. But I would say that just being able to recognize. You used to be able to recognize like different plays by just the personnel that they put in, and now it's almost impossible to do that, right? I mean,
did you ever hear of NASCAR when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Did you back then?
NASCAR?
Yeah. I'm talking about the formation.
Oh.
That in football, NASCAR formation.
Is that just where you're in line and?
It's just a fast hurry up. Just a few years ago, that's one of the things you'd hear from.
It was the run and shoot, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but what I'm talking about is some of the evolution has moved into that real fast pace, spread out, NASCAR type. Where it's just one of the nicknames given by some of the coaches.
The fast break offense.
Yeah.
Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
And Charlie Ward.
At
Florida State.
Yeah. We shut them down.
18-16, Orange Bowl, something like that. I think. I can't remember.
I think there's a picture showing where we actually scored on that, and they didn't. So,
Josh, we're so proud to have you here. Thank you for taking time to be on our show tonight.
My pleasure.
We'll let you scoot back out and join your family. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we have the MVP, Mr. Cade Longman, and you're watching the Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
How do you ignite minds, inspire curiosity, fuel the explorers and innovators? How do you instill a lifelong love of learning? You give our Oklahoma schools and teachers, and most important, our kids, what they need. That's why the people of Oklahoma Oil and Natural Gas have contributed over $2 billion to education in the last decade, so our students have the opportunity to improve our future and theirs.
Back. You're watching the Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. The guests just keep coming in.
Yeah, they do.
The celebrities, the coaches from other sports come in.
Yep.
We're glad to have you here. We hope everybody's enjoying your meal at Luigi's here on 117 Northwest 32nd Street in Newcastle. And we've been joined now by this week's MVP, not just Caden, but Mr. Caden
Mr.
Longman.
Him.
Caden, welcome
He's
to
him.
the show. Congratulations on another great win for the Racers and another selection as MVP.
Yep.
I mean, you had just an average game, but they still selected you? No. It's a great game. Talk a little bit about that game. It seemed like a big game to all of us. It was a big game, but yet it looked to me like the team handled it like just another game.
Yeah.
Everybody kept their composure. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, before the game, we all knew it was a big game, but just trying to keep, nameless and faceless opponents. I mean, no game's really too big for us. We know the kind of team we are and what we can do. So just trying to make sure we don't overestimate or underestimate anybody.
Well said. Okay. I'm going to brag about you a little bit or talk up a little bit, but I don't want to give any fodder to the other team.
Right, correct.
Saying that you're such a great guy, but you're a great guy. And I heard a part of your some of the interview. Was that your first interview to have after a game? Yeah. And I was just walking up to talk to Brian. I was going to say hello to Caden, and Brian said, hey, he's being interviewed right now. So you sounded like a pro. So how did you feel about that? I'm sure you read it in the paper following that.
Yeah, I actually saw it after the game on Twitter.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
okay, right.
It was actually pretty cool. That was my first time ever getting to do that. So.
Yeah.
Well, you had a big game,
huge game,
and the team had a good game,
absolutely.
and everyone kind of stayed in their position and did their job, and did a great job. So so now, big game like that. From there, how'd practice go last week?
Yeah, obviously big win. Just got to put it behind us. Move on to the next week.
So. But you knew you had 2 weeks to practice. So did you just go half speed last week? Did the coach say just don't do too much this week? We're just going to go real easy on you.
We had our normal practice week, but on Tuesday we didn't tackle.
Okay,
we just did wrap up
because you had your tackle Tuesday today, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So you get it. This is your 2 week, bye or a week bye. Would you rather play last Friday or are you good to get that week off, the extra week off, where you can kind of get all those little minor injuries healed up and get the mindset reset and ready to go? So do you like the 2 weeks or the 1 week? Or does it matter, honestly?
Having the week off was great, just getting everybody back to 100%. But just seeing everyone playing last week, you obviously wish you were out there.
Because the other classes were playing.
Yeah. And we've been playing so well. And, as a fan, it's like, we'll go watch them play on Thanksgiving Day. Let's go.
Exactly.
Who cares to give them a week off?
Yeah.
So, but, man.
How about the meetings? I know, I think you were telling us last time you were on the show that the meetings are a big part of practice. And
Absolutely.
what were the meetings like this week? About the same as always?
Yeah, I mean, we always have like the same like structured meetings, but just this week a lot of like focus on being tough. I mean, they're just gonna come out and just run the ball until they can't anymore. So it's gonna be a really physical game for sure, and I think whoever is the most physical will win. So
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it a lot. I don't know, it may not affect you very much as a player, but fans, other than those 3 games against Tuttle, Blanchard, and Elgin, all the other teams are new teams to all of us. I mean, we've not even had any reason to watch them play anywhere.
Yeah.
So how's that felt, knowing you're going against teams that you just don't know very much about or haven't been? I mean, every year is a new team anyway.
Yeah.
But still, how'd you feel about that?
I think it was different for sure, because like Tuttle, Blanchard, and Elgin, you played against all those kids like growing up. Same kids as always.
Okay.
So you know a lot of those kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just playing all these new teams, I think it's a cool experience for sure. Getting to move up classes in the middle of high school, and then obviously making it to semifinals your first year in the class.
Yeah, fun. We talk about senior leadership. We give a lot of praise to the senior. Every year you recognize the seniors for what they are doing, what they have done. Their leadership is important. But I don't know if this is kind of an awkward question, but there's got to be some form of junior leadership and sophomore leadership and everything like that. You're a junior this year, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell a little bit about, what's my question in that, Gerald? There'll be a question in there. I guess the attitude and the leadership from the underclassmen. Everyone cooperating. I mean, everyone just pitching in and doing their part.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own role, kind of like seniors. All of our seniors are captains, I think, except TJ.
Yeah.
And then like the younger guys, like the freshmen, they're all on the scout team pretty much. Like they're all have their own like individual leadership role in that, giving the first teams a look and stuff like that.
Because there's one thing to have a senior saying, "Hey, you guys, you need to be focused on this or that." But when you have another freshman turning to his teammates, or a sophomore turning, or junior to his team, or the other, that matters too. And I guess what drew that question to me is it looks like there must be some of that going on with the team, because it's not just 6 or 8, or in our case 15 seniors, down talking to the underclassmen and running them through additional challenges. It looks like it's a team spirit.
Yeah, we all try to be as positive and stuff like that as possible, because, I mean, one person could be negative and then the whole team goes down.
Yeah.
Like body language, that's a big part of what we do. Like, we see one person with their heads down, all the younger kids are going to be heads down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pick them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Snap out. Get up. Yeah. Good. And we see that when that happens, that next play the kid goes in, does well, and that can happen at any level and everything.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. So a couple things is like, I got really nervous when you came out of the game. I was like, oh no, Caden's down. Yeah. And then you went back in and was like, okay, good, But so when you're running your route and you see the play that you had that long touchdown pass, you're wide open.
Yes, sir.
And you see the ball coming to you. What are you thinking?
Don't
drop it. That's what I was thinking you were going to say. But yeah, I mean, and then and then your
it's like his mama says, don't goof up.
Yeah, don't goof up. and then the other thing, you made that really great catch across the middle where you hit the brakes and the defender went on by, and the other guy was behind you.
Yes, sir.
And you had enough acceleration, you have enough speed and your mental part of the game, I think, is so impressive, because yes, you're gifted so athletically, but the mental side of it for you, I think, is getting better every single week, and it's just it's cool to see 7th grade Caden Longman to junior Caden Longman, and what's the growth, not just physically but mentally, man. I'm telling you, those plays that you make, and then you ended the game on that, because were you probably looking at the quarterback? I mean, did you see the receiver coming your way, or were you just watching the quarterback?
They ran that play a couple times during
Smart.
before. So I think they ran it 2 or 3 times, and they just sent the receiver in motion. Quarterback didn't even really try to make a play fake at it.
Yeah.
And then just ran a seam up the middle.
Yeah. Right. And you had to be perfect to not have pass interference. Because if you would have been a little bit more to the left, you'd have hit him before the ball got there, and they would call pass interference.
Yes, sir.
And you tipped it. Was that on purpose?
No, I almost dropped it.
You tried to catch it.
Hit off my chest.
Hit chest.
Hit off chest, and then you caught it.
And Josh called the game. Hey, it bounced off his chest. He got it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a joy to watch you play, and not just our boys, but I mean the whole team. Just what y'all have accomplished this year, and what's still to come is just as a community. It's really awesome to see you guys.
Yes,
so.
And I kind of misspoke. I said his mom, but I was talking about Lisa. Your grandmother said. I tell him.
How does Lisa get a shout out?
I tell him don't goof up. You know.
Yeah.
She used another.
She
term.
used other words.
But we
can't say on air.
Yeah. No, but she's proud of you, and so you did well. Has anyone reminded you that patches on your letter jacket just keep getting better at this time of year?
Yeah, my parents really care a lot about that stuff. They spent a lot of money on that jacket, so they wanted to look as fancy as possible.
And you let them.
And the patches that start adding now, they do mean more.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, what's your message to Racer fans for the game Friday night?
I mean, we haven't been in this position to go to state in, I think, almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, as many people as possible could come out and support us, that'd be awesome.
Yep, you heard it, folks, from the MVP, and we all feel that way.
Yeah.
The coaches have talked about that. It matters how the stands are. It's going to be a big stadium, not huge. It's going to be bigger than ours, and it's going to help if we fill up our side with the home team. We got to be supporting the racers there. So I just can't wait. Caden, thank you so much for being part of it. We want to be back next week.
Yes.
So with your help, we'll come back next week.
Yes, sir.
I've invited a very special guest. Special to me is Josh Calloway, who calls our games
on
OSN. And so if he's available and we're able to meet next week, well, I'm going to have him come in and talk to you and I and talk to the fans and everything. But, Caden, thank you so much, and we're proud of you. Good luck Friday night. Good luck to the team. And we'll take a break now. I mean, we'll sign off here in this segment and say thanks to Caden and to Coach Heskew and to Coach Brickman and to the Scafetta family and the Wilson family and the Johnson family and all the people, the Luigi family, for taking good care of us this season. You've been watching the Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Good night. We hope to see you next Tuesday night.